Okay, everybody. Hey, how are you today? I have got a 1954 Smith Corona Silent Super. We're going to do a tutorial video on this today, show you how to use it. Tell me where you're from and if you've got one of these. So like I said, it's a 1954. First of all, let's talk about these green keys. Now, if you have ever bought typewriters before or worked on them, you know green keys are a little interesting. They tend to get this white film on them and nobody really knows why. So we've done our best to clean them off, but it is very, very common and typical for these green keys to get this white filmy stuff, especially underneath. But if you keep them cleaned regularly, it should be just fine. I mean, it doesn't inhibit the operation of your typewriter. It just is what it is. And it looks like you'll clean it and it looks like it's all cleaned off, and then it dries and you realize it's still there. And so you actually kind of have to chip it off, scrape it off, and then kind of clean it. And eventually you can get it off sometimes. Anyway, that's just a little side note there. Hope you're doing well. I think I already said that. Okay, let's get started and take a look at this. So this has what I call army colors. You got your army green and your desert sand look. That's what it looks like to me. But these are really good typewriters. Right here is your paper holder. You've got your decals up here, Silent Super, and then your margins are right here, and you just press and drag to set those margins. Remember that your margins, your carriage will only move as far as you have your margins set. So if you have them in narrow, the carriage is only going to move so far, okay? So to move your carriage, there is a rounded silver lever behind each handle. Doesn't matter which side you use, you just press it in and you can hear your bell. You should hear your bell when you get to the right margin. That tells you, hey, you're at the right margin. You probably only have a couple strokes left before this whole carriage is going to stop on you. And once it stops on you, if you're in the middle of a word, just hit this MR button right here, the key, and you can keep going. And then hit your return handle and go to the next line. Voila. Okay, so this is where you're gonna load your paper, is right against that green plate. And let me get a piece of paper and show you that. So you set it right here, turn the handle, that pulls it through. Make sure the paper goes underneath this metal bar. You can see that my paper is crooked and I don't want a crooked paper. So on the right side is a paper release. Just pull that forward, straighten it out, and release it. Actually, what I like to do is I like to come all the way up to the middle, so it's exactly the same on each side, and make sure it's even, and then come back down. And then you're ready to start typing. Now, know that on the left side, there's a 1, 2, and 3. That means when you hit the return handle, it's gonna advance 1, 2, or 3 lines, okay? Whatever your personal preference is. I'm gonna move this carriage to the left. We're gonna open up this top and you just grab it kind of right here and pop it up. Inside, you'll see we have some metal spools. At one time original to some typewriter. I don't know if it was original to these or not. What does it say? Made in USA, awesome. Okay, so we have hand rolled new ribbon on these. They're 2-inch spools, so this will fit on any typewriter that takes a universal ribbon. If you need ribbon for your typewriter, we have them on our website. Yay! So there's a link below for you. Just click on that. You can either get some inexpensive prepackaged ribbon that we buy in bulk, or you can order ribbon that we hand roll in our shop. It has twice as much ribbon on it. You can choose if you want a plastic spool or a metal spool. And honestly, the ribbon is a little bit better if you ask my opinion. Okay, if you have your own spools and you want fresh ribbon, we have an option for you on our website. It's called Custom Ribbon. Select that, follow the instructions. What you do is you send us your spools. We'll roll fresh ribbon on it as much as we can fit on there and then send it back to you. Okay, so here's your type bars. This is attention. This determines how hard these type bars are going to strike your paper. So if you have a light hand, light fingers, or heavy hand, my husband has a very heavy hand. When he types, it's like, I mean, the table shakes. It's like bam, 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 and drives me nuts. But that's how he types. I have a really light touch. And so each of us would have a different setting here because we type differently. Also, if you want to know what year your typewriter was manufactured, right here on the left side, stamped into the frame, is your serial number. And then if you just take that and look up at typewriterdatabase.com, you can find out what year your typewriter was made. Okay, so, another thing, when you get to the end of your spool, it's not the end of the ink. There is a lot of ink in that ribbon, and this ink doesn't just dry out overnight. It literally takes years. You know, you may even find a typewriter back from the 30s and 40s that hasn't been typed on, probably has the original ribbon in it, and it probably will still type a little bit. It might be a little faint, but that's how long ink lasts. So, I mean, if it's the original ribbon from the 30s or 40s, you definitely need new ribbon. All that to say is when you get to the end of the spool, it's not the end of the ink. You need to reverse it. And here's your manual reverse right here. You just go up or down, okay? And you can reverse it back and forth like 50 times before you need to change that out. Okay, over here is your color selector. Bottom is red. Top, it's a blue dot, but it's actually the black. Remember, when you're changing out your ribbon, let's go back here. Black on top, red on bottom. Now, I know you can get other colors like on Etsy and stuff. You'll have to figure it out, but just know that on here, red is always on the bottom, and the blue dot always means black. I'm not sure why it's blue. To change it out, you just pull out the spool and unthread it. Please go back or check out the product listing link in the description below. You will find a photo of this area. Take a screenshot of it or bookmark it so that when you need to change out your ribbon, you can refer back to it to see how it was threaded. Please keep in mind that in order to get it to look like this, sometimes you have to pull it through a notch that's on the back or underneath or on the top. You may have to wiggle it in and out, over and under, behind to get it to look like this. The reason we don't do videos is because of changing ribbon is because you get your hands in there like this and you can't see and everybody's like, I can't see. And that's why, because your hands really do have to get in there and you're not going to be able to see us threading the ribbon anyway. You may want to wear gloves. I don't, just because my hands are too small for gloves, but the ink gets everywhere. So just be warned, make sure you don't wear anything nice, that you've got like paint clothes on, because that ink is just going to get all over the place when you're changing it out. Okay. Let's get that back on there, and you just set them back in, turn it, and oops. And it's messy, but you know, it is what it is. And typewriters, they're just worth it. It's worth it. They're a lot of fun. Okay. Down here, tabs. Let's talk about our tabs. So, let's see if there's any on this. Okay, there's one. There's a tab set right there. You can hit clear, and that should clear your tab. Let's see if it did. Nope. So what I like to do is I like to hold the clear, pull in the carriage release. I go back a couple of times, and then I'm going to see if it, okay, it cleared it. I just like to clear all the tabs. Sometimes the individual clear doesn't work. And then you can go and hit the set. And it should work. Voila. Now the reason I put my hand here is carriages are a funny thing. Sometimes they will just, there's a lot of force because there's a lot of tension. There's a draw band and there is a lot of tension on this carriage. And if you hit the tab and there's no tabs set, that carriage is gonna fly and just slam right into, I don't know, it's just gonna fly over. So I put my hand here to kind of stop it in case it releases too far. Okay, so that is how to use it. I hope you found this helpful and that you enjoy your typewriter. Thanks again for watching and happy typing.